So I'm Dean, also known as PokeDean on YouTube, and we're currently at my TCG store that I own with Chloe called Cardhouse, and it's a wet, rainy day in London right now. I actually studied music, but I don't know, I couldn't really find anyone that I liked working with or that kind of shared the same kind of passion with me. So I always, as growing up in my teenage years, loved YouTube. I just loved the idea of it. I remember one of my first YouTube videos was me doing like the Soldier Boy dance. But yeah, through that, I kind of just tried to get involved in the communities as much as possible. Back then it was FIFA. That was just talking to people on Twitter. And then really just, I got kind of, I guess, not lucky, but lucky in the sense of I just put myself out as much as I possibly could. And luckily, a lot of people enjoyed the content I was making, my friend Maverick at the time. And that's how we kind of met the Sidemen. I used to work with Chelsea Football Club. They watched my content, really enjoyed it. So they asked me to do stuff with them. And just like that, I think I just like to put myself out as much as possible. And luckily, people enjoyed what I was doing and asked me to be a part of things. I've been on YouTube for quite a few years now, but I originally started by doing FIFA. I was doing gaming, which I very much enjoyed. Yeah, I did street interviews, I've done football videos, I was presenting on a show. I've done lots of stuff when I think about it, it's kind of crazy. But yeah, I like to always kind of push the boundaries of what I'm capable of doing and jumping out of my comfort zone and just kind of trying to do new things whenever I can, really. And then after a couple of years, I actually got a bit burnt out. It was a period where I was kind of falling out of love with FIFA, just the direction they were going in with the game. And I'm not someone who can fake doing something for the sake of it. So I very much thought, you know what, I think I'm gonna stop doing FIFA and get into Pokemon. And it just started me picking up, going to a couple shows for FIFA, but seeing Pokemon cards there, picking them up and being like, oh, I miss opening up Pokemon cards. And then I started watching, shout out Ando and Rev, PokeRev and Unlisted Leaf. I started watching their videos and I just really liked the thought of kind of like opening up Pokemon packs on YouTube and on videos and just recording my reactions, stuff like that. I met Chloe. I actually bought 2 master sets off eBay, and we started to get into contact. And she was just starting out YouTube, and I was kind of starting into getting serious with Pokemon. So we kind of like exchanged information in the sense of like I gave her tips on like what camera and equipment to use for YouTube. She kind of gave me some like tips on like Pokemon advice that I asked about, and then through that we kind of just became like best friends. And yeah, I've known her for like 3 years now, so we now in a shop together. We've been traveling the world together, making content, and it's been amazing so far.
I mean, it is crazy to be here in a physical location, especially with the situation right now with Pokemon. What do you think about that?
Yeah, the market at the moment is crazy, especially the start of 2025. Everything just seems to be heightened. It's almost giving the same sort of vibes of COVID times, where everything was kind of very in demand, the supply was pretty low. We're starting to feel that again. So who knows? Yeah, we're seeing cards go for record prices. It's great to see in the sense of, it's good to see the hobby is healthy and there's a lot of people involved. And I think eventually everything will kind of correct itself. These things happen. But no, I think it's a very exciting time to get into Pokemon if you haven't got in yet, or if you're in it, I think it's a really cool moment in time to be involved. I think our main problem at the moment is supply. We had Prismatic Evolutions, the latest set that came out, and we sold out in 10 minutes. So obviously it's a bit disappointing when we want to try and serve as many people as possible, but sometimes we just don't get enough product. So that is probably our biggest challenge we face at the moment. But yeah, my view on it is that we're always trying to adapt and evolve because we're living in a different time now. So there is so much more demand. Supply seems to be kind of up and down. Sometimes it's very easy to get, sometimes it's not as easy to get. So it's all literally just about adapting and evolving and keeping up with what's happening in the market. It's disappointing in the fact that we can't meet everyone's needs. I wish we had enough to be able to give everyone an ETB. But I think that's not just us, I think it's everyone. So one thing I've been saying to people is don't feel like you have to buy every set. Maybe sometimes it's okay to miss a set and go for the next one. But like I said also, this is a moment in time where it's very, very heightened. I think it will correct itself over time. So I would never say put yourself in a position where you're overspending your budget. If you feel like it's too much, then don't feel like you have to buy it. Just wait for the next set.
So that's a very interesting point. Like before, I just bought a Terrestrial Festival set, but in Japanese. So do you think that Terrestrial Festival is a set that you should currently wait out on if you aren't able to get it at market price?
I think if you want to open up this set, I think Terra Festival, I call it Terra Festival because I can't say it.
It's a tongue breaker, even for me with a foreign language.
I know. I say go for this one purely because on the odds, every box you're guaranteed an SAR, so you won't be disappointed opening up that box, whereas Prismatic in English is pretty much random. You can't get booster boxes, so you could open up an ETB and pull nothing. But at least with a box, you get an SAR, so I'd say it's definitely worth it if you want to experience this set. In terms of waiting, it's tough because it's from Japan. I don't know, they could reprint it any moment. Once again, unfortunately, I can't predict the future. I don't know what's going to happen in 2 months. Maybe they print so much more that the price drops. Maybe they say they stop printing and the price rises. So I feel like if it's good for you, the price is good for you, then buy it. If not, then don't force yourself to.
If you would recommend somebody who's getting into the hobby and is new in the hobby, what do you think is the first set that they should get into right now, especially with all these prices?
It's a tough one. I always would say look into all the sets and see which cards resonate with you the most. Maybe for instance, my favorite Pokemon is Charizard. Obsidian Flames has like 4 or 5 Charizard cards in it, so I love that set because it's got multiple versions of my favorite Pokemon. In terms of investment, obviously it's just my opinion. I don't know if in the future it's going to do well or not, but my favorite 2 sets, if we're excluding 151, I would say 151, but it's or Pokemon 151, depending on how you want to pronounce it. It's very expensive, but I think that's going to be a very good one. So it brought a lot of people back into the community. I would say Twilight Masquerade, Surgeon Sparks. They're my 2 sets if you are looking to complete a set. Paldea Evolved and Obsidian Flames are slept on sets as well. I would probably recommend them. They're probably a little bit cheaper at the moment. So there's a few suggestions.
Okay, super interesting. So before you said as well, investments is also something. Obviously, a card shop is a massive investment.
Yeah.
And I've also seen on your channel, you have very often 5 figures, even 6 figures that are going over a transaction. How do you feel like if you start getting bigger and bigger? Is it also more stressful?
Yeah, probably, yeah. Yeah, it's just the bigger the volume, obviously, the more kind of like output you have to put in. So I think hopefully that's something we can adapt with. We have been pretty much just going with the flow at the moment, and luckily it's been going well for us. So yeah, I feel like obviously the bigger you get, the more stress, the more problems may happen, but it's something we're willing to tackle.
So for you personally, if you're waking up in the morning and you feel like, okay, today I have like a big sale, do you think it is something that will get easier for you? Or do you think that because the more you grow, the bigger these sales and the bigger the purchases get, it will never get easier?
I don't know. The cool thing is about every day is different here. Sometimes some people come in with binders that are worth thousands and thousands of pounds that we just won't be expecting. So I feel like our main problem is just making sure we have funds available to, if someone does bring in a high figure collection that they want to sell to us. So I think it's just trying to be ready as much as possible.
How was that transition to? I mean, you've started owning, like, you opened this shop in April last year.
Yeah.
And it's nearly a year.
I know, it's crazy.
How is it? How has it been?
It's been unbelievable, genuinely. Anyone watching, if you ever come to the shop, I really appreciate it. It's been crazy. I never expected it to be this busy all the time, and so many people are saying that they're having a great experience when they come here. But yeah, I didn't even think we'd own a shop. It's just something, like I said, an opportunity that came along the way, and we decided to just go fully into it and make it happen. And yeah, I like to think that we're going to have the best Pokemon shop in the country. Who knows, maybe the world sometime.
Have you ever had doubts that it won't work out?
Yes and no, in the sense of I always thought it was kind of interesting having a physical store in a time where everything's going online, especially like if you're buying things. A lot of in the UK high streets is where like all the shops would be kind of closing down. But I also think that we believe in this and still believe in this, in the fact that this isn't just a shop. This is somewhere where someone can come hang out with friends or like-minded people that love Pokemon. We want to make it like a hub for people to be able to connect with each other, hopefully create new friendships, new connections, new relationships and stuff like that. So I think that this is more than just a shop, and I think that hopefully it's just going to get bigger and better.
Amazing. Thank you very much for this interview.
Really appreciate it.
As you will open, I think today, even a Terrestrial Festival.
I'm opening Prismatic Evolutions.
Prismatic Evolutions on stream. So great, the best of luck with that, and also with the store.
Yeah, no, thank you for coming down. I really appreciate it.
It was amazing to talk to you, and thank you very much.
No worries.
If you like this video, go check out my channel or just watch another one, and I hope I'll see you guys the next time. Bye!